Hey guys, this is Liquid Consecrated from Team Liquid. First off, I want to say thank you so much to all the people that have been following our channel, the people that subscribed, thank you. I do plan on releasing some more videos here shortly. I'm especially looking forward to the new DLC that's going to come out for Dark Souls 2. I'll be uploading that with the mods to kind of showcase the new zone and what they've done with that. But getting back on topic here, this video is going to be really simple and really short. I just plan on showing off basically the settings for my mods because I've had a lot of people ask what I do and what settings I've changed for the videos that I've done. So let's go ahead and I'm using GeDoSaTo version, I think it's 1.5. It's the alpha. It's right before the beta came out. That's the one I'm currently using. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a quick overview of the settings I've got here. Right, so I don't do downsampling. And the reason I don't do this is because I actually use an application called Shift Window for my windowed full screen. Basically, it allows you to grab any application. For example, let's grab this notepad here. So you can grab it, and by triggering it, it basically makes it full screen windowed. This allows you to take any application that doesn't have vanilla support for full screen windowed and override it so you can get that image. So because of that, I don't do the windowed full screen settings here, because if I do it through SOTA, it doesn't allow me to monitor my brightness. And because I live in a room that has a lot of windows, throughout the day I actually need to turn up and down the brightness in game to get the visual effect that I want, because of course you have less sunlight and more sunlight. So I don't do that. I do have the hide mouse cursor set to true. I'm pretty sure everyone has it set to at this point. Basically, it just hides the mouse cursor whenever you're pausing the menu. It makes the game look, I guess, less intrusive with having that mouse in the middle of the screen. Alright, so let's go down here. AA settings are set to 2. That's what I was recording when I was doing the video, but there's actually a preferred method available. If you have an Nvidia card, you can actually override it through Nvidia Inspector. And let's go ahead and take a look at Dark Souls 2. I think I still have the configuration from whenever Durante was going through it all. Alright, so Ambient Occlusion compatibility should be set to, where is it, Demigod? I think I have it here. Alright, so that's what's recommended for Ambient Occlusion. And you would go down to, where is it, down here. Okay, so that's going to enable high quality. So in here we have Ambient Occlusion and Anti-Aliasing. So you can actually go into Anti-Aliasing mode, and right now I have it set to application control, but I can override it anytime. And you can go through multi-sampling, or I think it's super sampling will work as well. It's obviously a more heavy version of Anti-Aliasing than what you're going to get in here, but it does look a lot better. And as far as the Ambient Occlusion, which is the next option here, I have it set to 2 because it's the least intrusive of the defaults that come from here. That still gives you a nice image. If I put it to 3, faces don't look right, and off looks better overall to me than 1, 2, or 3. But because I wanted to show off the mod abilities, I did put those on in the video. Of course, if you have the ability here, you can actually activate a HBAO, which is going to go off the demigod version here, and you would just go into high quality, and of course you would go to enabled right here, and then you apply the settings. Of course, ATI users are going to have to go with this. There may be some other SSAO mods out there, but for SOTA, they're all the same taxing on your computer, like it says here. But each one is going to be a little stronger in how much SSAO is applied, and I find that 2 is a sweet spot between all 3 settings. Of course, SSAO scale, I set it to 1. There's no point in going on lower quality unless you have an older card. Depth of field, I have it set to true. I'm using bokeh depth of field, and I have it set to 1.61. It's just one above 1.6, and it's the perfect spot for me. And I only use it in certain areas, because some areas it creates a great depth of field effect, and other areas it just looks like it's too much of a fishbowl. So it depends on the area I'm in, and some people prefer it, some people don't. I actually have it on a few times in my video, but for the most part I actually have it turned off. Let's go to post-processing. I use it to false. It will work with GEM, and it'll give it a different look if you have both of them running. But for all intents and purposes, I have it off. And of course, post-processing type, there's Durante and Asmodean. We're not going to go into that. Bloom, I have bloom set to true because I do use the bloom from Soda. All other settings are just the default that's in here. You can do texture overrides if you want. So let's go to assets and really quickly look at bloom. So the bloom effects here, you can see what I've done. For the cutoff, I have it set to 0.08. For the strength effect of bloom, I have it set to 2.0. It's actually defaulted to 6, which gives that really gloriously incandescent look that you've seen online probably, where it looks, especially summon signs, look ridiculously overbloomed. 2.0 is kind of my preferred setting. In my older videos, I had it set to 1.2, but I've kind of cranked it up to 2.0 as of lately because I prefer that look. The camera lens dirt effect, I actually bumped it up to 2.0. I might even bump it higher. I'm still playing with it, but it gives a nice little kind of, whenever you're going towards torches and stuff, a cinematic lens effect that looks really nice. But it's not intrusive, which I like because this game is so based around reading your opponent that you don't want something like Battlefield where if you look at certain things it just totally disorients you. Let's see. The HDR Darkening, I've got it set to 0.9 for the eye adjustment. I haven't really messed with that too much. This I haven't changed, and the rest of these settings I did change this to 0.15, but everything else in here I've kind of left it at default. Now let's go to Dark Souls. So let's look at the gem settings really quick. And I'm sorry, that might be my cat that you're hearing in the background. Okay, so you can actually use HBO if you prefer. I have it just set to Gem HD. For the videos, I had the quality set to 3. You could set it to 4, but it does seem to have some kind of stuttering. And we've even tested this with KidBlitz setup. He has a R9 290X, and for some reason on 4 it just doesn't have the smooth animation that you would get whenever you have it on 3 or lower. Of course, it says there's a performance hit on 2, so I think that depends on your system. It doesn't matter too much, but you will get a little better effects if you crank it up higher. But you can get the gem setting just by setting it to 0, and that's going to be really light on your system, and it'll still give you a great effect of what the game looks like with the mod on. I actually use SSAO in GEM, and I'll actually turn off SSAO when I'm using Soda. This gives me an SSAO effect that isn't too intrusive, and it doesn't mess up the faces in game, and so the people don't look like they have like really black faces in certain areas and dark armpits and stuff. That just doesn't look right. Let's see, the scene depth, I have it set to 1.06. That's the darkness of scenery. I do have it set just a little bit higher here than the default. Shadow depth, I've actually lowered it quite a lot. It's standardized at 0.80 for 1.3.1. I turned it down to 0.30. So this is how much depth is in a shadow. The lower you set it, the more you're going to get towards true blacks. The higher you set it, you're going to get more of a pseudo black color, where it's going to show the color variation from the color source or the light source all the way to the dark spot. You can set it to the higher settings. It'll give you more of a gradient look, but you're not going to get true blacks if you set it lower. And you can even set it lower based on your monitor. So this is just my monitor settings. You might want to go darker for your monitor. It's really up to you on what your settings are on the monitor and what you're trying to get out of it. Saturation is set to 0.95. Brightness. Okay, so my texture brightness, I've actually lowered it to 0.16. Just because that's the look I preferred. You can, of course, increase that or decrease that based on how bright or dark you want your textures in game. Brightness, I lowered it only 2 for contrast. Those are the settings I preferred. Everything else, bloom is off. It really washes out the image if you turn on bloom, so I recommend keeping this off at all times. grain, I tend to bounce between 0.05 and 1. I'm sorry, 0.00. It's dependent on if you like a film grain or not in darker areas. And the color booster, I have it turned off. You can turn it on to make colors more vibrant. I prefer a more bleak look, closer to the E3 demo that we were shown off. Let's see. So if you do turn on HBO, these settings right here, 3.2, this is what was recommended to me by Kid Blitz. So if you decide to go with the GEM HBO setting, set it to 3.2. This seems to be the look that he's preferred for the HBO shift in his game. And I have tried it out, and it does look different. It has kind of a green tint in my monitor, but maybe some other settings I need to change. But go ahead and try it out if you're curious about the HBO shift, and you'll kind of see the differences between the standard GEM and then when you have the HBO color shift on. Gauss strength, I have that set to 0.2. I think by default it's 2.0. Basically, this is how much Gauss blur is put into the final image, and it's really blurry on 2.0 for me. So I kind of decreased it to 0.2 to get more crisper textures because I like having a crisp image on my monitor. Blur is set to 0. I don't recommend any of this stuff unless you really want it, because it also adds a blur to the UI. So I wouldn't mess with any of that. These are the extra effects that come with GEM, such as light shafts and horizontal light. Here, for the horizontal flares, I have it set to 0.10 for the intensity. So you just get a little bit of it, but not too much. I find the default is, I think, 0.35. It's too much. It just soars across the whole screen. It just bothers me. And the threshold, I have it set to 0.10 as well. By default, it's 0.40. So that basically means that I'm not getting those flares when I'm looking at things from far away. So I don't have these long laser fire lines running across torches and stuff. Everything else in here is set to default. So basically that's just a quick overview of the settings I have for Dark Souls 2. I do plan on, once again, uploading some more videos. I'm looking at maybe doing a Let's Play of a new character if people are interested to see the whole game played through with GEM on. And of course, definitely once the DLC comes out, I'll be doing every DLC. Maybe I'll do a Let's Play of the DLCs with the GEM and Soda effects on. Anyways, thank you once again for checking out the video. If you have anything to say, please comment below. I'll be more than happy to answer any of your questions, as well as we have other Team Liquid members that'll also be here to help you. Thank you for checking out the channel. If you like this video, please comment and subscribe. And as always, have a good night.